Hello everyone, sorry I was just waiting for some people to jump in. How are we all? Hello Karen, how are you lovely? I'm just checking out Emma Zappone's new class. I'm just telling her I'll order later because I'm about to go live. Hope everyone is doing well. All right. Hello. Who else is there? Hello, Sharon. How are you? Awesome. Okay, so we've got a few people who have tuned in. So I'll just wait for a few more seconds and then we'll start. I'm absolutely sweating here. Yeah. I knew when I saw the post this afternoon, I thought, oh, Emma, you'll do it right when I'm about to start. And sure enough. But anyway, it looks lovely as hers always do. So I'll grab one later. Hello, Wendy. Okay, we've got a few people on now, so let's get started. Hello, Nikki. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's get started. Okay, so I'm sure most of you have seen the new Lindys release with the French gardens. I tell you, I'm just totally in love. But yeah, honestly, I say that every time they bring out a new one. But this one is really, really, really lovely. The colours really speak to me. The strength of the colour is just gorgeous. And I've done up some samples here. And yeah, I just love it. And something about this one too, I've noticed that there's a little bit of silver in a couple of them. That one looks like it's got a bit of purple in it, but there's some little goldy flecks. And this red, the Helenium Blossom Blush, would be beautiful for Christmas stuff. And I mean, Lindys does have a French Christmas set, but I think this one would be fabulous. You could use either of those with it as well. So I can see myself using this a little bit. So what I did do, that it doesn't have a yellow, and I think I want to use a yellow tonight. So I went to the Christmas set, which is here somewhere, and I pulled out one of the yellow that was in the golden sleigh bells. So very similar colours in the Christmas set, but it has a yellow, which this one doesn't, so I grabbed it. All right, so that's pretty much it. And of course the Laurel Gardens, I think that's what it's called, is another set. I mean, I've spent so much money on Lindys the last couple of weeks. It's been fabulous, but you know me, I love playing with Lindys. So let's have a look. I should just mention before we go on, I should do a little bit of a plug the November class that I'm doing next month is almost sold out. I only have 2 kits left. So if you're thinking about it, can I suggest you hop on and purchase it? You can, if you scroll down on this page here, you'll soon come across the post that has the link. I put one up this afternoon. But yeah, there's only 2 left at this point, and so get onto that if, or you know someone who was thinking about doing it. All right, obviously people love it because it's sold pretty quickly this time, so that's great. Now, this is what I was wanting to do tonight. I had a bit of a play last night because I'm just playing around with a different technique, and I just wanted to make sure it worked using the products that I have. It's a technique I learned a couple of weeks ago when I was doing some workshops, but I wanted to use the products that I had at home here and to see if it works as well, and also using the Lindys. So that's what I'm going to do. It'll look very much similar to this one. I've got different flowers and I'll do it a little bit differently, but predominantly it is the same. Now I should show you what I did yesterday was to bring in the red into the page. I dyed some of the some cheesecloth in with the Helenium red one, and it looks beautiful. There's a little bit of gold, I can see gold shimmer all over my fingers now. But if you've got cheesecloth, Lindys is fabulous for dyeing the cheesecloth. It doesn't take much, you don't need much, and I had like twice this much, and I just used it a little bit in between the flowers there, but I'll be using that again tonight, so you will soon see that. So this is just the page that I was sort of doing, and I'm going to just flip over and show you. So I'll keep turning back to that from time to time. So I went through, and for those that have seen my lives before, I'm actually using watercolor paper to stamp my my flowers onto. The flowers that I'm using, my stamps are Paper Artsy. They're Tracy Scott's, they're older ones, but I always like to bring them out because they're always really nice. I love the leaves, so this is the same leaf as what I used last night, so I've got those. Lots of leaves and lots of flowers. May not use them all, but that's okay. And yeah, so what I was talking about was the paper. What I'm using tonight, I don't really need to use it because there's lots of shimmer in here, but this is the watercolor paper from Paul Rubens that I just absolutely love. It's got the shimmer in it. You probably can't see it on here, but there's actually shimmer. So even if you're using your flat Lindys, when it dries, it comes through shiny. You get a little bit of a shimmer through it, and I've done a tag with that before, and it really comes up nicely. So I'm using those, so we'll be colouring those with the Lindys tonight. Also in the background, I didn't do this last night, but in the background, I just love this stamp. It's relatively new, it's a couple of months old. It's from the Lemon Creation, which is Asia Marquette from France. Occasionally I buy bits and pieces of her stuff. I do like it. As you can imagine, with the euro and the postage, it can be a little bit pricey, but I do like to support her, and every now and then when I can, I purchase a couple of stamps or stencils with it. But I'd like to buy more, but it does get a little bit expensive. And yeah, but this one I'm going to use in the background, and I'm going to use white embossing powder so that when you put the Lindys on, it'll really make the stamping stand out. So I'm just going to use a couple of those just to add a little bit of interest in the background. And the important thing of what I was... Oh, has she stopped? I know she was very sad a couple of months ago when she bought these things out. she was really lamenting over the USA business, that she would lose all her business because it's all USA. Awesome, yeah, the paper's fantastic. So if she does, I must go on and have a look. I haven't been on recently, but I know she was really worried that her business was going to go down because most of her sales were to America, and they were going to put the tariffs on it. So yeah, it would be sad if she does, because like I say, I'd love to buy more of her stuff. It does make it more expensive getting it out here to Australia, but you know, sometimes I just treat myself, and you know, and she's very efficient. I sometimes get things from her quicker than Australia, but anyway, that's beside the point. All right, so let's get started. So yeah, the other product that I wanted to use is, tonight I'm going to be using, now we all know our matte medium, our gel matte medium, okay? I use Liquitex, there's all sorts of brands, Dina Wakley, etc, etc. Everyone's got a matte medium in the gel form, which is a nice sort of pasty sort of thing. A lot of the places also sell, and particularly Liquitex, that's usually my go-to. I think Jo Sonia might have one, and other people do have them as well. But with this one, I've got this fluid medium, because I always keep a bottle of this around. This can be good for putting on collage paper too, because it's liquid. You don't have the problems with the, you know, crinkling and that kind of thing, but it is a fluid, okay? So I'm going to be using this tonight, and as part of my background. So what I've done is I've put a little bit into this little bottle here, just so that it's easy for me to pour out, because this has got quite a big lip. I've also got this one here. I don't know where I got this from. I think, I don't know, because I don't normally buy the Montmartre brand, but acrylic medium matte, and that's a liquid form as well. All right, so if you don't want the expense of, although I should say keep an eye out on Spotlight, because at the moment, I should say, I think at the moment, that was last week, they had this size bottle for $24, which I think is a really good price. So yeah, if you're, after seeing what happens tonight, you may want to invest in that. I don't know if Jo Sonia has one, I can't remember. But for those people who've got the Magic Mix, this might work too. I'll give it a go sometime. I'll have a play with it, and I'll let you know if it does work. But to me, it's kind of the same thing, and I think it probably will work too. So you could try it with that. All right, so enough talking. Let me see. She's going to keep her digital side, get on and see what is left. Oh, bummer. Okay, thanks, Karen. I will do that, because that's a shame. All right. Okay, so let's move on. So most of you probably know about Lindys. I just thought I'd give a bit of a plug too for Jen from Hillbillies, Hillbilly Scrapping. She is getting it in. She's starting to stock more and more of the Lindys, and so she is getting in. She's just a little bit behind because of the retreat and being away, etc, etc. So she is getting to it, but please just email her if you are interested in getting it from her, and she'll put her order in very shortly. So you can see I've still got some left over here from last night, and I'm just going to top it up a little bit. Probably don't need to, but I just like to have a bit of a refresh. So I just, in a little well, I just put a little bit in there. In fact, I'm going to, I should have wet that first, but anyway, just, you can see here I've just sprinkled the tiniest amount onto here. Okay, I don't want much more than that. Always give them a bit of a shake, and be careful in case the lid hasn't closed properly. a little bit of just a little bit. Ooh. Now I'm just doing the greens with this. Whew. Oh boy, oh boy. Is anyone creating along tonight, or are you just watching to see what's happening? These colours are just beautiful. They always do a lovely purple. I know some people don't like purple, but I don't create a lot with it, but I think it's great for doing flowers and stuff like that. Whoops. And I'm just going to get a tiddly bit of this yellow out because I don't want much. Put that there. Okay, water bottle. Hi, hi Susan, how are you, lovely? So I'm just filling this up with a little bit more water so I can mix in what I've got. Something with Lindys too, when you're doing your pipette, always hold your pipette up a little bit, because if you get it too close, you know what is it called? When the siphoning or something, I don't know, it goes up into your pipette. So you've got to be careful. All right. If you're just joining in, I'm using the French Garden, which you probably knew anyway. Just put that out, mixing in a little bit. Now I just wanted the greens on there at the moment. This is just the first stage, and we'll see how it goes. Just trying a new different medium tonight. A new way of putting textured layer onto your background is pretty much what I'm doing here. Now I'm going to grab, I'm using this one, it's a bit of a mister water bottle. So what I'm going to do is just mix a little bit. I love doing this, and quite often I love it when the particles don't actually blend in. I like it when they just sort of keep their original form. Now I'm just going to be touching, because I just want to bring a little bit, just a little bit up here, not much. So I'm just going to let it do its thing. I'm going to hold it up here a bit, because I'm trying to keep that as white as possible. I should say too, I do have gesso on this page. Not that you have to have gesso, it just, I go ahead, I gesso some pages ahead of time, so I don't have to spend all my time doing that. And when it's got the little G in the corner, that tells me that the page is gessoed. Normally I probably wouldn't when I'm doing Lindys, but what happened using the page last night worked a treat, so I'm not too worried about that. Now I am just going to leave that for a little bit because I want it to dry. There's a lot of moisture on there, so I'm just going to put this to the side and just let it do its own thing, and I'm going to work on my flowers. Hello, just watching. Oh yes, that's right. Oh, awesome. We'll have a good time. Yeah, have a good time, darling. I'm sure it'll be lots of pics, please. Show me what you're doing. I'll just leave these here for now because I've got 2 sets. I've cut them up purely because I'm going to spray water and I don't want greens mixing up with the pink, the purples and the blues, so that's why I've cut it up. So this lot I'm going to just paint one sort of colour. I'm going to give it a slight mist because I want that paper a little bit wet. I'm just keeping an eye on my thing over here. I'll just, every now and then I'll dab it just to take some of that. Right, it's looking good. Okay. Right, so these colours, I'll put this flower, these flowers I'll do purple. And so I'm just going to put a little bit, would have preferred a bit more. I just want a little bit more flow. Oh, it's alright, just a cup fell off. Doesn't matter if I go on the outside because I can be cutting these up later. So I'm just dabbing a little bit of colour around. I leave a little bit of white space. So all of these I'll do in the purple, and then the other lot I will do in the blue. I'll try and keep up with, get one of hers, Scrapping Clearlies. Yeah, I'm the same. I was supposed to go last year and it didn't happen, but one day I'll get there. So I don't mind that there's a little bit of white space on here as well. I'm going to put the yellow in the middle of that one there. Just get this purple to dry off a little bit. I always mix up way too much Lindys. See, I like this one here because it's very light, so I can go back in and put some more on. I'm leaving that center so I can do that with something else. And this watercolor paper just soaks it up so nicely. So now what I'll do is just around the edges, I'm going to just dab a little bit more. This has got the lines on it, so I'll just sort of keep in that kind of area. Just to give my flowers some depth. Do we have anyone on here tonight that hasn't played with Lindys? You're really missing out. If you know, I don't know, I just love playing with it. I guess it's my go-to watercolour medium. Although I did get myself into quite a mess last night when I was dyeing the cheesecloth. But it really does come up nicely. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just stick my brush into the red a little bit, and I'm just going to just dab and just let it do its own thing. And if it's wet enough, it will bleed into the purple. I might put some red in there. I mean, ordinarily you could do this, because I'm just using this set tonight is why I've stuck with the red and the purple in this case. But if you've got other sets, you know, you could put a different colour. Okay, let's see how we go with this one. Oh, wrong colour. Silly Billy. It's nice though with them both. There you go. Look, it's that beautiful. Become a bit plummy. Okay, I think that's all done for that. I'll leave that. Actually, what I'll do is Sorry, I'm just playing with this thing over here. I'm just dabbing off some of the Lindys. So what I'll do is I'll grab this yellow. I'm hoping it's still wet enough. We don't want it too wet because this will run into the purple and will go brown. I'm just impatient, so it's a little bit light colour, so I've just stuck a little bit of that red in. See if we can orange it up a bit. There we go. It's got a little bit of a tinge of red in it now, so it looks a bit orangey, which is good. What was I missing here? Yeah. So I'll put a bit of red there. When I'm doing this, I try not to get too close to the other wet colour. I like it to do its own thing and let it determine what it's going to do. Excuse me for reaching across. I'm just going to grab one of these little bowls, because what I'm going to do is put some red in here, put a little bit of red. I want to make up a brown colour. Oh, okay, good. Yes, yes. I know, that's why I wanted to go last year, so I could see those girls. So what I'm doing is I've got some red in here. Now I'm using the green and mixing those two together. I'm going to end up with a brown colour. I mean, I've got browns here, but I'm just utilising what I've got, letting you know, showing you that you can. Oops. You can create, and each time you do it though it's different. The one brown I did last night I thought was better, but anyway, it just depends on the configuration, the ratio of what you do. Just put a little bit of brown in there. So I will highlight that with Posca pens after. So always don't be afraid to mix your colours, okay, because you can do it. So I'll just put those aside for the moment somehow over here, and I'll bring these over, and this time I'm going to use the blues, similar sort of thing. So you know, I haven't gone all that's all right. Oops, oops, oops. Now I've got paint going everywhere. Just wipe that up. I want to have some control over what I'm doing. Okay, starting off light, and then I'll add some deeper shades as we go along. I'll try and look up and... Oh, you are? Oh, that'll be good, Susan. I hope you're a good sea traveller. I'm not, so I wouldn't even entertain the idea of a cruise. I'm just not a big... My husband has a sailing boat and I just don't go on it because I just can't handle the water. I love being on it, but my belly doesn't like it. Okay. Are you taking Terry on the cruise with you next year, or are you lashing out? Okay. So I do have to work quickly here if I want to keep the background wet, because in Brisbane, you know, it just dries out so quickly, but I seem to have got the right blend. Sorry, that's just messages coming through on my phone. Alright, I might just leave them go for a bit and let them dry off, and let's go over onto the leaves. Got lots of leaves here. I may not use them all, but I just sort of used whatever, did whatever I could with it. Ah, these colours look lovely on the leaves. So what I did last time was I started off with the deep colour, and I just added a little bit around the bottom of these petal leaves. That down there too. The reason I just go overboard down on the stem is because I sometimes cut them out a bit bigger than what they are, because they're too delicate otherwise. So just around the bottom of the leaves. And if I work fast enough, I can get the light green to blend nicely. Oop. Don't think it really matters which end is up. So when I'm blending two colours together, I usually start from the top and then push down and just let them do their own thing. I don't want to force it, I let them do it all. Gosh, I'm popular tonight. It is a pretty blue. It's it's, I don't know, I think that's why I like it, because I love the purple and the blue in this. Kind of reminds me of periwinkle blue. I think that's why I like it, because it's that purpley sort of, it's got a little bit of purpley into it as well. Okay, so just pushing this down and then letting it do its own thing. Makes it look more natural then. Oh, this one. Alright, dark over here, dark around the bottom. Around the bottom here. And actually, oh, I won't do it because some yellow on the end of this would have been nice too, but because I've put the red in it, I won't do it. So just I'll go down to it and then let it soak in naturally. Where are we? Start at the top. And if you're getting too much of a line, just give it a little bit of a spray, or even just a tap of water on top of it, and that will just help to disperse the colours. But I think there's enough contrast in these two colours for it to create a nice colour. Okay, so I'm happy with that. That's all the flowers. I'm going to go back to here because I just wanted them to dry off a little bit. What will I do first? I'm going to grab some of this purple and see how just see how wet it is. But the purple on this one looks stunning. it's still a little bit wet, but it's not soaking. So it just means I can get that little bit of purple on there. Actually, I won't just put a tiny, maybe I'll put a little bit of purple there. That's hard to do, put some purple there. I really love Tracy Scott's stamps, her floral stamps. I've got the new Christmassy looking one coming. I don't normally buy a lot of Christmassy stamps. I'll just get rid of this for a minute. Oh, I've got to do the centers. Sorry. Oh, gosh. So I just sop that up. That's not going to do too much damage. Nothing works on you. Oh, yeah. No, I'm a bit the same way. I'm great if the sea is calm, but if it's not... Now, what happened to my brown? Here's my brown. Just going to dob a bit of brown into there. It actually looks more black, this one. That's okay. But I'm going to put some... I'll show you in detail the flowers that I did last night. Similar sort of thing, where I'll put some extra mark making on them with Oscars and all that sort of stuff. Alright, so I'll just bring this over so you can just see it's kind of dried off. I will dry it off a little bit more because I really want it dry before I move on to the next thing. You know, I mean, when you're doing these live, you just don't see the shimmery niceness. It's just such goodness. And honestly, that's about all I'm doing on that, because we're going to do more layers. So I'll just bring this back here so you can sort of see. I put a few dots with Posca pens and that kind of thing. So I did do a little bit of tweaking with it later. But, you know, you can see there where I put the blue and the purple together and the purple and the red on that one. It's subtle, but that's okay. So we're going to work on the background a bit more. So I'm just going to get rid of this for the minute before I tip it everywhere. I'll just put these aside, let them do their own thing and dry them off if I have to later. But they look really nice too. They're coming out nicely. So, what we're going to do now, I know it was mentioned, but what was the name of the Lindys set? Sorry. Sorry, here, French Gardens. French Gardens, okay? Yep. French Gardens. And, yeah, it's beautiful. So what I'm doing with this, I'm going to do a little bit of embossing first, then I'll do the extra layer because the technique that I want to do tonight takes a little while to dry, okay? So that's why I'm kind of doing it now, so it gets a little bit, I like to let it dry naturally as much as possible. I'll grab... Need a bit of paper. Oh no, not that. I usually have so much paper hanging around. This'll do. Okay, so I'm going to use this little guy, and I'm not doing too much with it, just a few little sprigs. I might grab this big one. Now, and the idea is I'm going to bring it out because I'm keeping this sort of white here. So the idea is I want the little sprigs to come out from behind. All the flowers will be around here. So this will just poke out. So I'll do a few of these, and yeah, that's what my intention is. Right. Okay. So I've got this. Okay. Got my Versamark. I shall put some embossing. I like the Lindys embossing powder too. It's very fine, so it's great. So now it might look like, oh, it's not going to print well because of the, damn it, because of the spiral. It's going to mess up a bit, but anyway, that's okay. We'll do that there. Hopefully you can see something there. Always forget about that spiral at the top. It really impedes on the stamping. I'll put another one just in there. Beautiful. You can't see it, but I can sort of see where it's coming from. Actually, I'll swap over to the larger one. I'll just do the 3. So this is the larger one. Let's hope that sits on there nicely. Not too worried about the bottom stem. And we'll put that there. Okay, right, so let's see how well we do. Obviously you're not going to see it until we put the Lindys on. Okay, I've lost the embossing powder. Oh dear, can anybody see the embossing powder? Oh, there it is, right in front of me. Okay. Sprinkle this all over. Right, now, let's see if I can get this without tipping it everywhere. Oh, golly gosh. I have to clean that up. Oh, it's not on properly. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, put that down there. Now I'm going to need a brush. Just get a little brush because I've got a lot of places where I don't. I'm not one to use those little spongy things that they have, so I'll just so I'm just brushing off what I don't want. Could be the Lindys that it's sticking to there as well. Alright, so embossing gun, let it heat up. Love the colours, yes. Okay, here we go. Let's see some magic happen. Now some of this will get covered up too with what I'm doing, but I just thought, I just wanted a little bit of interest, a point of difference between this page and the last page that I did. Now I know, I know these flowers are just sitting there willy-nilly in the middle of, but that's okay because we'll have all the flowers on it. Alright, that looks, oh no. Seems to be taking a bit of time to dry. I wonder if it's got the Lindys underneath. Alright, so I don't know if you can sort of see that very well in the camera. I'll just wait for the camera to catch up. But it will obviously pick up when it has the Lindys all over it. I am just going to let that dry off, cool down for a bit. So I want to brush it, and I don't want to, just brushing off any extra that might be hanging around. Alright, okay, let's go. Alright, so I hope you saw that on there. Sorry, I just want to clean up, because if I leave this powder on the table and I heat set it, it's going to set. Alright, now what I'm going to use is this liquid, the liquid fluid matte medium, and look, I know you'll think, oh gosh, but she's covering it all up. You know, I will be covering it up with the flowers, but it's a technique I really want to show people, because I just think it could be really interesting to use in your work, and it's just a different way to get texture instead of using texture paste and all that sort of thing. So I've put it in this little tiny bottle that's got a nice little small nozzle on it, because I don't want it, last night when I did it with this, it just poured out too quickly, and so, you know, I sort of had more of a blob than anything. So what I'm going to do is I do want a lot, but I want to be able to control it. So you can sort of see I'm really doing a little bit more like I might even just do a little bit up there. I did a lot more last night, but it did take a long time to dry. Alright, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Can you see what I've done there? Yes, the Laurel Gardens that was my favourite last week. Now, whoops, got a few bubbles in there, so get your bubbles out. So it's quite thick, okay? So that's I'm going to let it dry off for a bit. If I have to do a little bit of heat setting, I will, but I prefer it to dry a bit natural. So that's where I'll go back to my flowers now, and we can cut them out and do all sorts of things like that. But I just wanted you to sort of see, now I've created texture without using stencils and that kind of thing. And I'm going to let it dry off a bit, and then I'm going to put some Lindys over the top of it, and the Lindys will blend in with the fluid medium. So I'll just leave that there for a tiddly bit. I'm just going to dry these off because they're a bit wet still. Bring out my trusty mat, and they'll dry a lot quicker. with this mat. There we go. Oh, here's the Jingle Bells set. I don't know if anyone has it, Nat or anyone, but it's a Christmas one. But there's some of the colours are quite similar. The red and the green, very similar to what you've got here. The only thing I would say is the yellow, but then the yesteryear yellow from the Enchanted Gardens, I think it's called, would be just as good. You've got a silver colour and Frolic in the Forest, so that looks like a really deep brownie. Probably have a bit of green in it too, which is probably very much similar to what I've got there. And I must admit, this is not one that I have used a lot of. It's just one I bought because I just have to have them all. It's getting a bit hot. Got a bit of dust in it or something. It's a bit smelly. And it does dry very quickly. And I'll just do these. I just keep looking at my fluid medium. Ooh. It's getting a little bit hot. Okay. So what I will just see how we go with this time. Last night I just used this pen. A bit different on there, so I just wanted to add a little bit of interest to some of these petals. Not all of it. You'll notice too, I'm holding the pen up, I'm not holding it down. That gives me more freedom to do squiggly lines, so it doesn't look too contrived. Might not do too much with this. I might just do a few little lines. Okay. The leaves on here. Just got to be careful which pen you use. This one seems to be working okay. Because of the glitter, sometimes these pens don't like. So I'll just bring that up so you can sort of see what I'm doing there. Oh, she does she? Oh, okay. Right, thank you. I mean, you people that make cards and stuff like that, you would probably use it a lot more than what I do. I'm not a card maker, but, you know, like, for the, oh, that's probably why I'm getting so many messages for the ATC thing. So yeah, don't forget, if you want to do the ATC challenge, just put your name, you know, just comment yes and I'll add you to the group. That's probably why I'm getting all those messages. That's good. But yeah, so, you know, you would use it in like that sort of thing. but definitely for cards and stuff like that, I could see you using it a lot. So I like the idea of just adding a little bit of, just put a little bit of white on here, just to make it a bit more interesting. There's enough lines on this, I don't think I need to do much with this one. That's that. Okay. So if you were doing this technique that I'm showing you tonight yourself at home, you could do it nice and thick. I have done it thick in some spots, but if you like to do it nice and thick, you could just leave it and go away and, you know, make a cup of coffee and come back to it. I think the problem is we sit and we watch these things, and instead of just letting it do its own thing. So just adding a little bit of white here to give some interest to these leaves, and just to bring out those colours a little bit. I've done all of them, yep, so let me see if I can show you. Oh, I haven't done those, but there's a couple of the flowers and the leaves, so can you sort of see what I've... Oh, what, the Lindys? Yes, I haven't used my journal yet. I've just been so busy doing other stuff. Took a long time to come. That was the parcel that I was waiting on, and it took over 10 days to get here, and I thought, oh, yeah, that'll be right. The time I'm waiting for the journal to come through. It eventually come, but I've been busy since then, so I haven't had a chance to do it. Yeah, so girls, with the challenge, I've put a post up tonight. It's just going to be, you know, just one that you can do for yourself. You know, it's similar to what we did last year. I did the 12 days of Christmas. So you'll end up with 9 ATCs at the end of it. And just for yourself, it's just the reason I decided to do it is because the post is going to get crazy from here on in. And it's really frustrating waiting for ATCs to come through. And, you know, it can take over a month from here on in. And I thought, no, I'm not doing that again. It's just too stressful. And, it could, you know, because you don't want to lose your cards either. So I thought, let's do something a little bit different. And and I quite enjoyed doing the 12 days of Christmas. I only had a couple of people do it, Susan and the 2 Susans actually. I think the 2 of you did it. And yeah, I enjoyed it. So as you would have seen, when you see the post from tonight, it's really starting on the 7th of November. So we've still got a bit of time. And I will do up a short little video, a bit like what I did last year, showing you, because what I'm going to do is I'll probably make a couple of backgrounds, 2 different separate backgrounds, and then just mix them up, or I'll do the one background. I haven't decided that yet, but it's just a way for you to have a bit of fun. You know, don't overthink it. Don't get too bogged down in you know, what's expected of it. It's just what meaning you get out of the prompt. Okay, there's a couple little suggestions, you know, like different things to do, but what you do with it is entirely up to you. It's just a way to engage and have a bit of fun. Now I'm going to, this is still quite wet, I might just, I don't want to, I'm going to use my hairdryer because it's not quite as heavy. So it's going to be noisy, so I'll stop talking, but I just want to dry off a little bit, not much. Right, now, what I'm going to do is, again, just grab my greens, the 2 greens, that's all. I might use a little bit, I might just use the greens like I did last night. So the deeper green, you can just start splashing it around. I don't want too much over here because I want it to be white. So I'll probably dab off some of that. And then I've got the lighter green here, which is stunning. I love this green. I've probably got a little bit more than what I used last night, but anyway, that's okay. So this is where, I know we've still got some wet liquid there, but we're just going to spray it. It's kind of soaked a little bit. That water is going to interact with the fluid, the medium. Just oops. So you're going to see I'm going to start dabbing a little bit here because I just want to try and keep. I won't dab too much up there because I've got that powder. Oh, Susan, you're here. Yes. It was fun, darling. No pressure, you know, that kind of thing. So I'm just going to tip this up a bit so I can... where's my brush? I'm not going to play with it too much. I'm just dabbing it down here to get a bit of colour. Bit of paper. Always have paper on handy when it's there. Yeah, Susan, you had fun too. Yeah, it was a bit of fun. All right, so I'm just going to move that so you can sort of see what I've got there. I know you probably think, oh my God, what a mess. But, yeah, this is looking pretty good. So it's going to kind of blend in with that, the medium in there as well. And you can see what I love when you do embossing. Can you see these tiny little dots? They're like little drops of rain on your window. I love that when you're using white, and they just... It's like they resist the embossing powder and they just leave these beautiful tiny little dots. Have a look at this up here. Oh gosh, are you getting a bit excited here? Whoops. So this is where I'll keep looking at it because I don't want to take it too much away from but I just want to leave a patch of. Can you sort of see what I'm doing here? I'm actually lifting off some of it because it's quite thick. And dip my paint into there because I have got a lot on here. Whoops. Just be careful because you'll start shifting. Just letting it soak up. I'm not touching the surface too much. I'm letting the paper towel soak up the liquid. Now, if this was me working just by myself during the day, I would leave this I'm only doing this now because I want it to dry quicker, but ordinarily I would just go away and leave this, go and watch Bold and the Beautiful or something, and come back. Because if you go away and leave it, you're not tempted to play with it like I'm doing now. Yeah, do as I say, don't do as I do. Look at me, sitting here playing with it. But I just know how long it takes to dry. And if I'm holding it up too long, it's not good. And by using a wet wipe, over here where I think I've got too much Lindys, I'll leave that. I'm dabbing it and I'm actually taking some Lindys off. Okay, so I'll just lift that up there for you to have a look at. Gosh, it's gorgeous. All right, let's put that to the side. Okay, clean up, clean up, clean up. Oh. Okay. So don't be afraid to use. Does anyone have the liquid medium? Have they had it in? Because I know some of you have purchased the Magic Mix. That is something you can try. I will try that and put a post up with how I go with that. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Now, let me just find my scissors. What have I done with my scissors? Haven't put them back, of course. Where are they? Need to have a sip of water. Oh, I'm hoping I've got a lot of messages there, so I hope we've got a few people wanting to do the ATCs. And doing this one too, it means that overseas people can do it. You know, I often get people wanting it to do it overseas, but postage is bad enough within Australia without having to send them overseas, cost-wise and time-wise. And ATCs will join up again next year, so the usual on the 27th I'll announce, put out a more reminder, etc. So we'll continue it as long as people want to do it and people show interest. I'll do it. Usually find a new year, new people want to start to do it. I like it, I do enjoy it. Just loosely around the edges of these girls. I might just try and I'll move over into the corner here. And I'll just put that there. I'd like you to be able to sort of see what's happening a bit, so you can keep an eye on that as well as watching me cut, fussy cutting. Oh, there goes another one. So I hope people are interested. Yeah, so by the end of the 9 weeks, you will have, you will see there's a little bit of a description there of what, there'll be more details each week. Each Friday it'll go up about, I don't know, 10 o'clock or 11, I think, I can't remember. So you've got the whole week to do it. You might choose to do, you know, do them all 3 weeks at a time or something like that. But the important thing I want you to do is to actually put your images up on the web. I want everyone to see it, so because we're not going to receive them, I still want to see what everyone does, because I love everyone's interpretation. Yeah, and I don't want you to think, oh, I think Linda wants me to do this. No, Linda doesn't want you to do that. Linda wants you to do what you think, what the prompt means to you. What pops into your head when you read whatever the prompt is about. I mean, obviously it's sort of Christmassy themed, but I guess it doesn't have to be. You might just choose to do red and green or something, I don't know. Has anyone got any thoughts on it? Yeah, no, everyone's gone quiet. There's something on TV that everyone's watching. The white on these really sets off the designs. You don't realise just how much a few little squiggles, how it can change the whole impact of the technique that I'm doing tonight. You could actually probably even do it. I have done it with gesso before, so it does depend on your gesso. If it's a really thick gesso, not so much. You'd probably have to put a little bit of water in your bottle as well. But there's no reason why you can't use gesso if you don't have liquid medium. I have, in my past life when I was doing art studio, we did a lot of gesso as a medium, as a matte medium type thing to give texture. So you can use gesso if you, but I kind of like, I just like the fluidity of the matte medium. Oh no, that's alright. Just chopped off the, doesn't matter, I'll just tuck that in if it doesn't survive. So, sorry, I know it's a bit boring sitting here watching me cut. Oops, sorry, I drifted off into another world then, and so every now and then I just have a look at this just to see what's happening. It's settling down nicely. Now, get rid of that. I'm just going to swoosh the, oh hello, I haven't used this technique, Linda. No, I wouldn't have thought a lot of people would have. It's just something that I was shown a couple of weeks ago, and it got me thinking, and I thought, because I have done this sort of thing, like I said before, with artwork, but not necessarily using the liquid medium. But I thought, why can't I use this liquid medium, because it would work just as well. I'm just casting a little bit of heat over here, because I do worry it's going to take a long time to dry. the only problem. Thing is, you've got to use a bit of liquid to actually get the effect going. So you can't sort of skimp too much on it. It's looking better over here, looking good over here, because this is not as thick as what it is here. So obviously this is where the flowers are going, and a bit concerned about that. I'll let that sit for a little bit as I continue on. Right. No one's got any goss, any stories, any jokes to tell while you're sitting there watching me cut paper? Now I hope this doesn't take too long tonight. I mean, if it turns out to be one of those things, I'll just keep running the video, but I realise that whilst it's 8 o'clock here, it's 9 o'clock, well, 20 past 9 down where you are, so, you know, if you're down south. So I understand if people need to go, but just know that I'll just keep going, and you can watch the rest of it. I try not to have these be too long, but sometimes with the technique it takes a bit longer. It's just another way, you know, if you get sick of doing texture paste and things like that, it's just another way of doing things. Looking forward to your class. Oh yes, thank you, darling. So you purchased it. Good on you. Yeah. It will be a fun one. Because you know, because it's like a Christmassy type thing. Not that many people. I don't think there's anyone doing Christmassy. Mine, I kind of made it Christmassy, but not Christmassy. To me, what is Christmassy is the cherries, because in Australia I think of Christmas and I think of cherries, because you know that's, you know, big bowls of cherries on Christmas Day. So to me that's a Christmassy thing, and that's why I chose that image. Yeah, so it's kind of Christmas, but it's not Christmas. But for me it's Christmas, because I think of cherries when I think of Christmas, when I look at the cherries. And she looks like a cute little Aussie girl, so to me it looks like an old-fashioned Aussie Christmas. That's how I see it. I could be... When is Queensland going to catch up to the rest of us? Oh, when are you guys going to stay with us? I don't know. It probably won't happen. I don't know. Yeah, it won't happen. Probably. Yeah, so I know it can be a bit frustrating when you, because 7 o'clock in Queensland is probably a bit early for some people still having dinner. Yeah, so it's really hard to know what to do because as far as times with these things, because if it goes too late, people have got to go to work and all that sort of stuff. Now, while I'm waiting, that's looking better. This is going to trouble me a bit. It's a bit, but anyway, I'll try and dry it off a bit later, but you've got to be careful too because that starts to bubble when it gets too hot. So, I'll see how we go. But while I am waiting, I'm going to do, I just want to take the whiteness off the edges of these, around the edge, the cutting edge. Just get rid of some of that white. So I have to be careful here. Look, you could go around the edge of this with a pen. Some people do the pen thing. I can't do it because I'm frightened I'm going to ruin my pens. I should just buy a Sharpie and use that. But I'm happy doing this. I mean, some people probably wouldn't even do this. I just don't like that white edge that you see around. There. Sorry, I get carried away here. Daylight, you love the daylight saving? Yeah, I imagine you would down in Melbourne there. Look, I can remember when we did have it. I mean, I don't mind either way. It's just the different time zones that is annoying, but as far as the weather goes, as far, the sun and all that sort of thing, that extra hour probably might be nice. When is it getting dark? When is it dark there now? I know in summer it'd be quite late. I think it's very late in Melbourne, isn't it? Very late before the sun goes down. Or am I dreaming? Okay. Oh, shoot. Right. Now, girls, I'm going to put my hairdryer on again, so that means I'll stop talking for a little bit, which is probably good for some of you. Oh, I sit here talking to myself. It's crazy. All right, so I'm just going to put the hairdryer on to try and dry this side off in particular. Oh, that's still wet there too, so we'll see how we go. okay. It's mostly dry on the top. I think there might be a little bit of air in there. It probably is a little bit wet in there, but that's okay. We're going to put some flowers on and all that sort of thing. Yeah, so I mean the next thing that I will be doing is just, let's get rid of this. Sorry. I put that on to protect the other pages. Alright, so I'll just have to look here. So I'm just going to start laying out the format of how I want the, oh, I just thought of the quote. I don't know what I did with the quote, but anyway. Yeah, sorry, I got waylaid there. So I'm just going to start laying out the flowers and see how we go. Now, I'm hoping that you'll get to see a little bit more. This one I really kind of covered up, but you can see a little bit on the edges there and that, so that's okay too. But it really was just to demonstrate to you what you can do. I did do that one, sorry, just a minute. I have to do with my white pen now. That's alright, I'll do that. Oh, here it is. Have I lost anyone yet? Are we still here? I know you sometimes drift in and out of. Alright, let's see how we go. So, a couple of the bigger flowers. So, what have we got? 3 of these bigger flowers and 4 of the bigger flowers and 5 of those. So we'll just start in no particular order. It's a bit squishy now because of. So this is where I just start laying out little bits. No real thought as to exactly where it's all going. Now I did deliberately, and I like the idea of that. I'm actually going to cut that little bit off, so I like the overhang. I put the flowers on first, then I start interleaving the leaves. So over here, I'll definitely make sure I put a leaf here because I need to cover up the bottom. You're still here? Yeah. So I need to cover up the bottom of that leaf. So wherever the embossing is, I'll make sure that that is covered. That one's already covered anyway, but that's good. So let's just see how we go first. Another one of those flowers in there. That there, put that there. Okay. What have I got here? I don't want to put too. I'd like to put a leaf down here, but I don't want to put too much because I've got a little bit of that stuff that I just want you to sort of see what's happening with it. So I've got a leaf there, so I might actually chop some of these bits off too. You can cut them off if you don't need them. Just sort of see. So I just want the embossing just to be the outside of it. And I always like to make sure that it's covering up a little bit. In fact, I am going to sort of put that in there a bit. And a couple of little leaves up here, put one there so it covers up that, put one in behind there a bit. So you can sort of see I'm covering up a lot, but you can see some of it, whereas on the one last night, that was my trial, and you know, I don't think I'll use that. So excuse me a minute, I'm just going to take a photo of this so I can sort of see. I always like to do this just to work out my composition. That way then I can sort of look to see what it looks like. You can see, but it's hard for me to see when I'm doing it here. Okay, keeping in mind too, I might leave it at that, because keeping in mind I want to add some of this in as well. So I glue all this down first before I even contemplate doing that. And I just find my glue. Where have I done with my glue? Oh, come on, Linda. Wendy or anyone else who is doing my class for the Hillbillies, I will do up a very quick like materials talk video like I do for my classes, just so, because there is a little bit of cutting out and homework that you could do, so just keep an eye out for that soon. I'm hoping I'll get to it this weekend, you know, before the end of the weekend. Alright, so now when I do these, I am just in the middle, okay? I can always put more, glue on later. It's just to let it catch. Okay, just take that away from there for a minute. Okay, because the reason I'm doing this is because obviously I want to put that red cheesecloth in later, and I need to be able to tuck in. You can always go back and put it down properly later on. So I'm actually liking this one now better, because I can actually see that depth underneath of the medium that I used underneath. Oh, that's still a bit wet there, so we'll just squish that down. And what's also good about it, even if the medium isn't dry underneath, by the fact that because it is a glue, the medium is a glue, so you are going to get, it's going to help stick your flowers down too. Just hold it for a little bit, just to let it catch. Just going to So I'm going to start, alright, so let's put that there and that there for the minute, so I remember that they're there. Okay, so put that to there. Just make sure I cover up that, the bottom of that. Am I still in camera? Yeah. Look, you know, honestly, I don't think you'll be disappointed, because you can see the leaves. They do look quite nice, and ordinarily I probably would have put a little spot of yellow on there too, but because I put red in there, that would be a beautiful colour on here as well. I like a little bit of colour on leaves because it just helps to lift them a little bit. Yeah, you won't be disappointed. So yeah, definitely consider purchasing it, because yeah, it's delightful. Look, ordinarily I probably would put a little bit of white in him, you know, like, I don't know, a leaf or something like that. And I was going to put something in here, but because I'm highlighting the Lindys in this particular project, I opted to use the cheesecloth. I mean, white cheesecloth underneath that would probably look better, just to break all the colours. But because I haven't used much red in this actual project, that's why I went with doing that. Now let's have a look at this in the, yeah, so it's looking good, but it needs a bit of break because you've got the leaves against the, excuse me, the background. So that's where I grabbed this. This is way too much. It was just a piece I had hanging around. But what I do is, you don't need much, okay? I just snip off a little bit at the end. So I've just got a tiny little bit like that. Just pull it out a little bit. And then I just sort of fold it over itself like that. So now I've got a chunk of it there. And I will add a bit of glue there. So then I will just tuck this down, tuck it in, and I'll just leave it like that for a while. Okay, so I will tease this out to make it look pretty, but I'm happy with that just to sit there like that, just to give it a chance to take. On the last one I did 5 pieces, just because I felt it needed the extra, but I always do. So a little piece, it could even be smaller than that. It doesn't have to be much, because a lot of this I'll chop away. So just tuck this in underneath. So I mean, that's a lot that's sticking out, but it won't be much, because you'll see on here there's only a little bit sticking out. So when it's dry, I tease it out and then chop it back a little bit. It's up to you. You can have it as long as you like, but that's too long. Stuck to my fingers. Just clean up any excess glue. So I've got 3 bits there. See, that's driving me nuts already, that. I'll put up top there, here, okay. I might just put a tiny little bit underneath here. And there's just tuck it in. Don't get too excited with it. Let me just have a look at it in the thing. It needs something up here. I'll put a little bit there, tiny little bit. Okay. tiny little bit. Just now this is where I'll start off at the top because I think that's where sometimes this is where you need your hair cutting skills. If you're a hairdresser, you'll like this. I just snip into it. And then I hold where it's anchored, and then I just tease it out. Okay, so I might end up losing most of this, so you can sort of see there's a lot. It's just to add a little bit of interest to the background, and then I will chop it back little bits. Okay, so I mean I've taken most of that off. It's just, and I think also too because it's red. It's another reason why. Oh geez, oh God, I just watch you. Need to watch that. Yeah, so don't be afraid to colour your cheesecloth or your lace, whatever you got. Even your flowers. I've coloured flowers with Lindys. Some. So it's just a little bit. Now this one's going to really drive me insane. Alright, now let me just lift this up and chop that off. So I'll stick a bit more glue on that because I know that won't be down properly. Now I know I do have quotes here somewhere, but I'll have to put that on later because I did up a few quotes. Now I don't know what I did with the piece of paper, but anyway, I will put the quote on here as usual. Now I will grab my black pen and I will, oh, that's what we haven't done some splatters. Can't have a page without splatters. Now last night I put a few yellow ones on. I think I'll do that again. I just felt it needed a lift, and something I learnt from well, didn't personally learn from him, but something that Van Gogh always said, that's why he loves yellow, because yellow always lifts a painting. So if it's good enough for Van Gogh, it's good enough for me. Okay, so I'm just putting on some yellow ink here. This is one of the Mark inks. I'll put a few bigger dashes there. Okay, I'll just quickly dry that off. I will put a few white ones on here as well. No worries, Karen. Thank you, darling. Yeah, have a good night, Karen. Right, so I'll grab some white, put that on as well, and I'll have a look for the quotes. It's a lovely, apparently it's a French proverb, the one that I want to put on here tonight, but I don't know what I've done with it, so I'll have to look. I thought a French proverb was very fitting, so just some white to soften it down a little bit. Just putting a bit there because I really wanted to keep this white in the corner. Dry that off. Yeah, so it was a French proverb. I can't even remember what it is, but I really liked it, and Google said it was a French proverb, so we believe that. But anyway, I will keep looking here tonight, and I'll put it on. Yeah, so I'm just going to put a border around there with my black pen. I'll finish off doing the drawing the white splatters, and then I'll add my quote, and I'll put picture up on the web for you so you can sort of see it finished. But thank you, ladies. I'll just continue on doing this, but if you want to sign off, I will thank you very much now for joining in. I hope you enjoyed looking at that. Look, make sure you've got plenty of time to do it, and you know, it just makes for a really interesting sort of technique. It's probably not something you'll do all the time. I think I'd like to do it more often, but yeah, so I will put a picture up tomorrow, and you can have a look at the finished product then, but I will keep continuing on till I finish it here. So good night everyone, and thank you for joining me, and I'll look forward to seeing you another time. Thanks girls, see you later, bye. But I'm going to keep going if you want to stay. Thanks Susan, see you later, darling. Okay. Okay, so look, I will sign off now if you're still here. So thanks, guys, for sticking around. I'll have to have a look for that quote. I don't know what I've done with it, and it might take me an hour to find it. So I will put the quote on and put it up online tomorrow. So thank you, everyone. Goodbye. Lovely. Bye-bye. Have a good night.